Hey gang, today I'm up in New Jersey checking out a 66 Mustang GT Fastback. I'm here with the owner and he's going to tell me about his car. Now this is pretty interesting to me because this car appears to be unmolested, which is really rare, and he's taking on this project, and his name is Jack, and I'm going to let Jack tell us about his Mustang. So Jack, tell me about your Mustang.
Well, this is my 66 Fastback. I happened to stumble upon this by accident. Looking in search for a Mustang, went onto the Hemmings website and found an owner who had another 66 Fastback that had some of the metal done on it. But I wanted something that was untouched, something that I knew what I was getting into, being this is my first project car.
Okay.
Talking with the owner back and forth about the other car, he told me that he had this car. Once we started the conversation about this car, that was it. I wanted that one, this one here. And it came up out of Tennessee. It is a project, but it is untouched. From what we can see and what I've searched, everything is original except for maybe the fender and maybe the hood.
All right. Well, tell me this. Why do you have an interest in Mustangs? What brought you to getting this car?
I have liked Mustangs my entire life, and when I was 17, I had an opportunity to buy a 64.5 coupe, poppy red. Car was gorgeous, all restored. But unfortunately, at 17, my father wasn't willing to give me the money, and I definitely didn't have it.
Okay.
I promised myself at some point in my life, I would find a Mustang that I wanted to build, and came in the opportunity. I started looking, I found this car and fell in love.
Now, you say you bought this car. Now, what's the path of this car? Now, it sounds interesting to me because, I mean, you live in New Jersey or North Jersey,
Yes.
and the car, you bought it out of what state?
Tennessee, actually.
Okay, so how did it get from Tennessee, how did it get to Tennessee, or what's the path of the car?
The car was actually built here in New Jersey. It was built down in Metuchen. And when I went to transfer the title, I know the person couldn't tell me who owned the car, but it hasn't been titled since '84, which you can see the inspection sticker in the front window. The car went from New Jersey to New Hampshire, and then went to Pennsylvania, which is where the last place it was titled. From there, it went to Georgia, but was never titled, and then the gentleman I bought it from his friend in Georgia, which brought it to Tennessee. Now, I brought it home back to New Jersey.
So it's back in its home state where it belongs, right?
That's right, it's where it's gonna stay.
Okay. Now, we're going to do some more looking around at this car and show you what it needs. And we all know these Mustangs all need help. But as Jack was saying, this fender is probably not the original car, or original to the car, along with the hood. But I've looked the car over, Jack has looked the car over, and Jack has done his research on whether this car is a real GT or not, because that's pretty important.
Yes.
When you get into one of these cars. And from what he's found and from what I've seen, it is a GT car.
Yes,
which
it
is
absolutely
awesome.
a GT car. It has all of the, I went online, did the research, what you need to look for, the sway bar, the hole in the core support, the brake pedal, which all can be faked.
Sure.
But the one thing that cannot be faked is the support in the frame rail, which this has.
Correct.
For the exhaust.
For the exhaust. Which, that's some interesting exhaust there. I don't know, I can't say those are original.
Yes, they are.
They are?
Yes, they are. That is
Okay.
original to a GT.
Good. Because I wasn't sure myself. I saw those and I thought, well, maybe, but I have not dealt with a GT directly. So that's pretty awesome that those tips are still there.
One of the other factors is if you look at the brake pedal, it says disc brake on it.
Right. Now, you know, it does have, well, it does have the 140 speedo too. So that's cool. And it is an automatic car. And you feel like you have all the pieces to it, right?
Yes. The only thing I've done to this car so far is ripped out the carpet, pulled the seats out, and some of the trim panels inside. I I know Barry wanted to see this car, so I didn't want to rip it apart. So now the real fun begins. Plus I had to build this shop before, because I had a smaller garage over there, but it was just too small.
Yeah, you gotta have a shop.
Yes, so now I have a nice big shop.
I'm impressed by his shop, by the way. This is awesome space here. And I do see, I saw your list on the wall.
Yes.
To do.
Yep.
And top of the list,
That will be a Mr. Cool.
Mr. Cool mini split.
Yep, it's already wired in the wall, it's going right there.
That's awesome. Now, I noticed, and I was talking to you earlier about this, that all the trim that is on this car, and I mean trim by windshield trim primarily, or rear glass trim, is in great shape. Normally you see these things are kind of beat up, but you're missing a piece, obviously, and we talked about that. But the rest of it appears to be dent free, which is really awesome. But that's a good thing that you have those.
Yes.
The unfortunate thing is this car is going to need a lot of stuff done to it, and you know that.
Yes, I do. I'm fully well aware. Actually, when I bought the car, the gentleman I bought it from had a floor pan assembly, full floor pan, which at the time I couldn't afford. Talking back and forth with the guy, he held it for me, and I did buy it, which is hanging in that garage in the ceiling.
Right.
So I am going to put a full floor pan assembly in this, which we've seen Barry do. So that will be my starting point.
Yep. Then that's a good starting point to have. I mean, you need a solid foundation. And as I looked in the car, and I could show pretty quickly that, you know, it has in-floor air conditioning. But all that's going to be replaced. It looks like you're going to need a firewall, all that sort of thing. And you're going to keep it painted black, I assume.
Yes, it is going to, my goal is, this is, I believe, called Raven Black. My goal is to keep it black, but not necessarily Raven Black. I've seen blacks where it looks like you can actually reach into it.
Yes.
That's what I want. I want that deep, dark black.
Yeah, and you're missing a badge there.
I have them. I have all of them.
Oh, you do?
I have them all. They were in the glove box.
That's awesome. Doors in bad shape. Fender, you know, typical rust on these kind of Mustangs. You know, obviously quarters, wheel houses, they're all going to have this problem. And like you said, this car spent its life in the north being driven around, and road salt, all that stuff is just torture on these cars. But, you know, it's an awesome car, I really must say. Got the GT gas cap. I like those wheels. I really do.
Yeah, I have to look to see if I can actually get them
Redone? I'm sure you probably can. I'm sure you probably can. But man, even has the lights in the grille, everything that you want in a GT car, and especially a fastback.
Right.
Now, I know you had mentioned, we pointed out that this is an automatic car.
Correct.
So that's your struggle.
Yes, I have a struggle with that. Keeping the 289, I'm unsure about keeping the 289. The car is an automatic. I really wanted a stick.
Yeah.
So I toy around with changing it over to a 5-speed. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. The guy that I actually bought the car from, he had a couple top loaders that he would have sold to me pretty cheap,
yep,
you know, if I wanted one. But I haven't. I'm still toying around with it. I have plenty of time to make that decision.
Sure you do.
So,
and the one advantage, as we talked about earlier, you know, if you do that kind of swap, and you said it yourself, you're going to keep all the parts to this car. So even if you do make that swap, as long as you don't modify certain things to where it would devalue it, let's say.
right.
But if you had that engine rebuilt and sitting on a stand, you know, kept the transmission, all the items that go with the car, that's going to be a good thing.
The gentleman I bought the car from, he told me it ran. He sent me a video of the car running, so that I knew it ran. The second day I had it home, I had the car running because I needed to know. And it does run. It fired right up. The carburetor needed to be rebuilt, so I bought a gasket kit and rebuilt everything.
Sure.
And it ran great. It stopped leaking. He did tell me that the transmission, he was having issues with the transmission.
Yeah.
So I didn't even...
Don't even try to drive
I know
it.
the brake system was shot, so I didn't try to drive it or anything like that.
Well, you know, what I find really interesting, and I pointed this out earlier in our conversation, one of the major things that I look for in these cars is the shock towers. And nobody cut these shock towers. Usually there's a big hole where they cut into it with a torch so that they can grease the upper control arms, but these have not been cut, which is amazing. And then stuff like this, you know, it still has the original windshield washer bag, or at least what appears to be original. It may have been replaced, but it does have the Fumico brand on it. And I mean, it's just amazing that this car is all here intact. You know, that's just, you don't see it. And that's why I wanted to come up here and film this. You know, we talked about that. It's one thing to have somebody tell you or show you some pictures, but until you see one like this in person, you just can't appreciate it for what it is, even in this condition.
Right. You and I talked about this before I even bought the car. I sent you the pictures and asked your opinion on it. You know, because I actually bought the car sight unseen. I never went to Tennessee. I was in Ohio when I was going to go get it.
Right.
And I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I will rebuild the car for what it is.
Yeah, it's an amazing piece of history just to be all here. That really impresses me. I know you see these cars, some people give up on them. Some people say, hey, it's too big a project, but you know, it's a car you love and it's a project you're willing to take on. So hats off to you for that. I'm looking forward to updates, honestly.
You will get, I will get updates with it. I thought about calling in while you were doing your Monday night live streams, but I didn't want to show the car because I knew you were coming up to do it.
Yeah. Well, very cool. Let me do some shots underneath the car so we can see a little bit, maybe. I know it's really hard to.
Need a light?
Well, it's you've got some good reflection off of the floor. I'm surprised, honestly, that these floor supports are here. We all know those things are one of the first things to go, but I mean, they're there, but obviously it's going to get replaced when you do the full pan. Right. But still,
That flashlight died.
your flashlight died.
Yeah, it was on. I didn't realize it was on.
That's all right. No problem.
This is.
Yeah, you gotta have them.
I have two of them.
There's the disc brakes. Sway bar. All the goodies everybody wants in one package. As we're walking around this car, we're talking about the GT options and things that define the car. And this is one thing you can't fake because it's part of the wiring harness. So you've got the disc brake setup, the fog light switch, you know, the 140 speedo, all those things that define it as a GT. Just really cool. All right, that's going to be the end of this video. I want to thank Jack for letting me come up here, have a look at the car, tell me about the car, and like I said, I'm looking forward to updates from Jack, and I know he's going to share them with me, and if he does another, like say a Viewers Project video or update, I'll share it with the rest of you as well. So I want you to stay tuned. There's more videos coming. I've got a couple more videos like this that I plan to work on today, and those will come later down the line. But for now, that's going to be it. So until next time, take care of yourselves. See ya. Hey gang, I'm up in
North Jersey.
Yeah, North Jersey. I'll just say New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay, that'll be the end of this video. I want to thank Jack for allowing me to come and film his car. And I'm looking forward again to updates on the car. I know it's going to be a lot of work. Is that garbage truck or something?
Yeah, you can give it to